Alrighty, it is Wednesday, March, whatever day it is, and we are hauling a lot of barley loads to a faraway place. Sounds to me like we got quite a bit of work to do, so maybe we should get going. That is, once these trucks actually air up, and head on down there. Okay. So Dad actually bought this truck last fall after harvest, so it has been around for a while and it's gotten some miles on already, doing some week contracts to the elevator. But mostly thumbs up from the minimal experience I've had so far driving it and his experience taking it down the road as well. Seems to be a good rig for sure. Now let's talk about grain vacs. This is what you call a grain vac. A grain vac is a convenient device that uses the power of suction to just suck all the grain out of the bin into this thing and through this auger, which is yet to be folded out. This auger dumps the grain into the trucks. And that is how a grain vac works. Kind of. You need one more thing though. You see, something needs to power the grain vac. So here, you have this shaft, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna attach a handle to this, and some guy's gonna sit here and crank on that handle really fast. That's going to give this grain vac adequate suction to suck the grain out of the bin. And yes, we got a bunch of tubes here, and this is what you do. You just plug it in here and suck the grain out, and then you clean the bin out with this thing too. Anyway, of course I was just kidding about the having a poor guy have to crank on this thing at 540 revolutions per minute. So we are going to resort to some old Case International horsepower to get this done for us. This, my friends, is a Case International 7110 tractor that has been on my family's place for a long time, and it is a great tractor. Little fun fact, it came from Europe. It is German. You can actually crawl into the cab on this thing and see all of the warning stickers are in Sprechen Sie Deutsch. Okay, we can go now. I have this drone, I was gonna fly it around, but I switched my phone to an iPhone and I still have the USB-C Android connector in the controller there. And on top of that, if I use the Type A port with a normal charging cable, both of the cables that I happen to have do not work. This one is just dead, and this one only does data, or charging, I mean, no data. So I guess no flying today. We'll have to wait. All right, we're back. This is the loading zone. We are loading on a 10,000 bushel bin right on the other side of this truck. Let's take a look. So what you do is you just kind of wait. Once you get a pretty good pile there, I'm gonna move the truck back a little bit. And we're gonna fill from the back forwards. I guess I could show you guys how the bins work now. So this is a GSI 10,000 bushel bin, whatever. As you can see, grain is coming out this auger here and going into that auger there. We go into the bin, and you can see, to help automate the process, our bin is equipped with a sweep system and a farmer mat to help us out. As you can see, the sweep system and the farmer mat work very diligently to ensure maximum load capacity, Riley approved systems. And of course, your grain bin is also equipped with a door access so that you can look out straight to the auger. And when you're in here goofing around and your truck is overflowing with barley, then hopefully you can get out quick and do something about it. As you can see behind me, that is an exposed auger that Farmer Matt is working up nearby. Exposed augers are quite dangerous. Please, 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 if you are at all in this ag industry and you deal with augers, be smart, be safe, don't do something stupid, and don't lose a limb or your life. Please. That is not a suggestion, it is a requirement if you're going to be in this industry. Okay, well, this is the last load of the day, or for the week for that matter, for barley here at the elevator. They're unloading right now. But hey, do you guys wanna learn how to drive a truck? Let's do it. Okay, so here's the Riley Drives Truck cam. Weird hand motion things, because you can't see my face right now in the shot, can you? Well, whatever.
Voiceover Riley here. A couple things I forgot to mention while recording that clip. First of all, this is a 13-speed Eaton transmission, and the same concepts apply to an 18-speed. Second of all, I am floating the gears in this demonstration, which means I don't put the clutch into shift. Many other truckers do prefer to use the double clutching method instead, although this is not demonstrated here.
Step 1, step on the brake. Release your parking brakes. We just have the tractor one activated. Gonna let that air up. Okay, now left foot on the clutch, all the way down on it. Shifter to the left and down into the low gear. I'm gonna slowly release the brake, and I'm gonna very slowly release the clutch. Feel it start to bite. Hold it there for a second, let the truck go, and we're off the clutch. So now we're engaged in gear, add some throttle, and we'll leave the gas station. Very slowly here. Make sure we do wide turns so we don't clip our trailer on anything, of course. Okay. I just upshifted, and by the way, I did not put the clutch in to do that. I just let go of the throttle and moved the gear shifter at the same time, which let me out of the gear. When the RPMs fell, it went into the next one. To upshift, off the throttle, move over in next gear when the RPMs fall. Do it again for your subsequent gear. This is gear 3, or second gear on the shifter. And again, to pick up more speed. So once again, I'm not putting in the clutch. I'm using my throttle to get the RPMs in just the right spot for that shifter to naturally just kind of fall into that gear. Okay, we're gonna make another right turn, which means I'm gonna downshift. We'll talk about downshifting a little more in a minute. There's a big bump there, so pardon that. Make sure we're doing the wide turn once again. Turn signal off. You have to manually shut off the turn signal on trucks, by the way. Okay, and this is our last gear on this low side of the shifter. But we're not going very fast. We're only going about 15 miles an hour. So to get to our higher gears, what we're gonna do is once we get enough RPM and enough speed, throttle off, gear shifter off, black switch up, and then go into this position right here, which is the middle upper. And that takes us into our first gear on the high side, or fifth gear on the shifter label. And we're just gonna use this gear to go down this gravel road to the stop sign. So now I gotta slow down again. I'm gonna pop it out of gear, switch down, all the way over here, push your foot on the throttle until you get a high enough RPM and let it slide into that previous gear. This is called floating the gears, by the way. You could use the clutch to shift. So we're gonna do it again. RPM's up, let it fall in. And when it's not falling in, you feel grinding. You do not wanna force it if you feel grinding. You wanna try and get it so that there is no grinding, and then slowly move that shifter, or just feather that shifter, I mean, into position. Okay, so you hear that? That was a little grinding. You want to wait for that to go away before you try and push the shifter into it. All the meantime, I'm watching everything around me. I'm listening and watching RPMs. making sure that the engine is making proper power, and just keeping an eye on everything. So here we're gonna go into the high side again. There's some chickens on the road right there. We're gonna have one more stop and then we're gonna be on the highway, and that's when we'll really get up to speed. And maybe I'll show you what the red button does. It's not rockets, sorry. Okay, downshifting again. There it goes. We can even use the jake brake a little to help us slow down. I am empty though, so it's not that big of a deal. Right. Downshift another one, there we go. Make sure our turn signal's on before we get onto the highway here. Once again, also a wide turn so that our trailer doesn't hit that stop sign and end up in the ditch. Okay, it looks like we're gonna have to come to a complete stop. There's traffic on the highway that needs to clear before we can get on. So I coasted into neutral. I'm holding onto the brake right now. I get in my first gear, let off, clutch, in gear, RPM's up, shifting up, gear 3, gear 4, gear 5, signal off, up, gear 6, and gear 7. Okay, now I'm gonna use the red switch here. So I'm just gonna flick it, and then I'm gonna let off the gas and put on the gas again. And that shifted a half gear for the high side of the splitter. Now, we're going to go neutral, switch down, next gear, feather it in, and there we go. Okay, now time for the high side of that gear. So switch up, throttle off, throttle back on. Gear shifter down, switch back, feather it in. And we only have one more gear change after this, and that is once again to go to the high side. Switch up, off the gas, back on. Okay, now we're at about 65 mile an hour, which is the truck speed limit. This is where we'll be cruising.